Today, I'm going to show you 3 projects that are going to be perfect for this Thanksgiving. So we are going to be etching this is like a baking dish. I want to call it a pie pan, but obviously it's a baking dish. So we're going to use some of the Armor Etch on that, along with some adhesive vinyl. And then we are going to be using some HTV and creating a baby onesie. And then we're also going to be creating a t-shirt. So you guys definitely don't want to miss this one. So we're going to go ahead and start with the etch first. That way we can go ahead and set it aside, let it do its work, and then we'll go ahead and move on and we'll come back to it at the very end. So make sure you guys stay tuned. For our baking dish, we're going to be using this design right here. So all of the designs I'm using today are completely free and they are linked down below. So we're going to be using this one right here. So for that, I just went ahead and cut out some adhesive vinyl, but I did mirror it because if you're going to put it on the bottom of your baking dish, you want to mirror it so we can see through the bottom to be able to see that, all right? So make sure you mirror it, adhesive vinyl, and then if you aren't going to, so say for example, I wanted to put the design here, I wouldn't mirror it, okay? So only if you're going to be looking at it through the bottom do you need to mirror. All right, so what you want is some Armor Etch. This is going to etch into the glass. Now, I have heard that it is harder to etch the Pyrex brand. This one here is not a Pyrex, so definitely keep that in mind. But what I like to do is grab the dishes from either a thrift store, secondhand store like Goodwill, or you can even go to TJ Maxx, Walmart even, and grab some dishes. This would make a perfect housewarming gift, or even just using it for the holidays. I've got some gloves here. I got some baby wipes because I am in the craft room, but I would take this over to the sink and wash it out. Also, I would do this in a well ventilated area. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip over our pan here. I've already got some transfer tape ready for us, so I'm just gonna go ahead and peel this off and get it on the dish. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and line this up on my pan and get it nice and centered. Now at this point, you really wanna make sure that you rub this in because we don't want any of that etching to go underneath our adhesive vinyl. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove the transfer tape. Now for my baking dish, you may see some bubbles here, but that is just the wording. So this is the information that says that you can use it in the microwave and all of that stuff. And so I'm just making sure that I've got that rubbed on, and I'm really hoping it's going to etch through that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just once again pushing, making sure everything is completely sealed down. Now, if you feel like there's any areas that you're gonna get out of the line, so say for example, this is kind of close, you may wanna take some painter's tape and go all the way around, but I think I'm gonna be good to go. You can use a foam brush or a paintbrush. Today I'm going to use a paintbrush. I've already got this nice and shook up here. So we're just going to go ahead and dip right in here and then go ahead and get it down. Now the really cool thing about Armor Etch is you can put it right back into the container. Now you also want to use gloves. Right now I'm not in any way where it's going to get on me, but you probably do want to put the gloves on at this point here. Just be super safe. So as you see here too, I'm being nice and generous with this, and I'm doing a dabbing motion, not a swiping. All right, so at this point, what we're gonna do is we are going to set this aside and let it sit. Now, the longer it sits, the deeper the etch. And what you wanna do is come by maybe every 10 to 15 minutes and just move it around. So you can take your paintbrush and just kind of re-daub it around. You could take your little weeding tool if you want to, just carefully move that around. And that's just going to help that etch get even deeper. So I'm gonna leave mine for maybe around 20 to 30 minutes or so. But once again, the longer you leave it, the deeper that etch. So usually what I do when I do these is I actually do them outside, like on a patio table or something like that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and set this out of the way. For our next project, we're just going to be creating a very simple t-shirt that you can make for yourself or you can sell. So I'm using this one here that says, I'm just here for the pie. I am obsessed with pumpkin pie. You guys let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite pie? Is it apple pie, pecan pie? I want to know. So leave a comment down below. So what we're gonna do is I've got my Cricut Easy Press 320 for 30 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out that moisture. Now, once again, these designs are completely free and they are ready to go for you. So all you need to do is size it out to whatever shirt you are making. Now this is a new brand of shirts that, it's not a new brand, but it's a new brand for me. It is Tulex. I'll have it linked down below for you guys, but this is called Wash Black, and I think it's gorgeous. I think it's just perfect for the fall weather and for Thanksgiving here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this design somewhere right about here. Looks pretty good to me. Just coming around 3 to 4 fingers down. All right, and then my heat press should completely cover this design. So we just gotta go over this design one time. 320 for 30 seconds. All right, so here we go. We're gonna move that out of the way. And this is Caesar, so it's pretty easy to use, so it is a warm peel. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and peel. So as you guys can see, that white just pops off of here so good. This almost looks brown to me, but this is Wash Black, and I definitely think it looks brown, but I think the color is just absolutely perfect for this fall, this Thanksgiving, like I said. So you guys can see how that white just pops off of here. And then if you wanted to spruce it up a notch, you could definitely add something like screen print confetti on here, or you could definitely add some bleach sprays or whatever you want to do to just kind of spruce it up even further. Now, before we move on to that third project, let's go ahead and go back in here. I'm just taking that same paintbrush and I'm just starting to move that around. So I'm just doing a dabbing motion, and I'm just gonna move some of this around to make sure it's really getting in there and etching that glass. Now the reason why that works is because the glass that it's already etching, you're moving that out of the way and you're letting it get on that fresh area, and then it's just kind of going a little bit deeper. All right, so for our third project, we're gonna do a super cute baby onesie. So this one right here is multiple colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys about doing this layer here. And then working with a baby onesie, you want something like a pressing pillow because we need to be able to avoid those seams. Now I know a question sometimes is like, well, you're using a Cricut pad, but the Cricut pad is pretty stiff where this is nice and soft and movable. You can make these on your own, or you could definitely purchase. I'll have some link down below, but basically it is a Teflon sheet with a piece of craft foam that you guys can grab, or foam from the sewing department, that you guys can put in there and just stitch all the way around, honestly. All right, so we've got the baby onesie here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this right underneath here, just like so. And then whenever it comes to figuring out the placement on a baby onesie, the first thing that a lot of us, if you're new, what we wanna do is we want to place this somewhere right about here. And what that does is that ends up on the stomach area. And so when it comes to a baby onesie, you really want to stay nice and high, honestly. Usually you can even get away with just coming down around a finger, and it's going to be good to go. So something right about there, because keep in mind, a lot of times with baby onesies, you have your little pants or your little shorts, and they're going to cover this area here. So it's going to stay nice and high like this. So figure out our placement. I think that looks good. So we're going to go ahead and get that turkey first. So I'm going to go ahead and move these pieces out of the way. All right, so same thing. I'm using that big heat press. So I'm gonna go right on top, 320, and I'm only gonna go down for about 2 seconds, because when it comes to layers, you just wanna do a tack down. So depending on what brand you're using, it's between 2 and 5 second tack down, and that way you're not applying all of that heat at one time. All right, so we're gonna very carefully, because this is not 100% pressed on there, we wanna be careful, keep this, and then we're gonna get our next piece. So I'll go ahead and pop this down here and figure out about where I want to go. So I'm thinking something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get down that gobble. All right, and I could probably get down the word wobble at the same time. And so I'm going to take that same piece and I'm going to cover back up our turkey so everything is protected. We're going to go back on top, press again for around 2 to 5 seconds. And so that way we don't overheat. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna carefully peel this back again and remove these ones. All right, so we're gonna go in with our next one. Now, if you can, since these two are closer, if you can line these up without going on top of each other, you definitely don't want that plastic to get underneath anything. You can get them down at the same time. If not, get one down and then come back, but I think I'm gonna be able to get everything. So I'm gonna recover all of my pieces. All right, now this is our last and final press. So we're gonna go down 320 for 30 seconds. So this time I'm gonna hit go. All right, so we are ready. We're gonna go ahead and lift this guy out of the way. And then we're gonna remove all of the carrier sheets. And look at how adorable this is. It is so stinking cute. So I really hope you guys have even found something helpful when it comes to making those baby onesies. Keep it nice and high, and then use a pressing pillow to avoid those seams. That way your HTV will last for wash after wash after wash. So like I said, keep in mind that you are going to have little pants and little shorts that's going to cover this bottom half. You want to keep it nice and high so the design does not end up on the tummy. All right, so let's go ahead and check back in on our pie dish. All right, so before I move it, or remove it, if you will, I'm going to try to go ahead and pounce this stuff around one more time, just giving it a few more. So I've had mine down for probably around 15 minutes or so. And so I'm going to go ahead and pounce that around. I'm going to give it another 3 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and remove it. All right, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and get my gloves on to protect my hands. You definitely don't want to get this on your hands. So at this point, what you're going to do is you want to go ahead and find something that's going to allow you to scrape this safely and easily back into the bottle, because this stuff is still good. Don't waste it. This stuff will last you a long, long time. So definitely scrape all of this back in the bottle. Now, since we are in the craft room and I'm live, this is not what I would recommend to do. I would take it straight over to the sink and wash it off. So before you remove your stencil, you want to wash it off. Wash it completely off and then remove that stencil. So you just want to use a little bit of Dawn dish soap and really rinse that off. Now I'm going to use some baby wipes because I'm in here in the craft room, and I'm going to go ahead and remove all of this and that adhesive vinyl, and then we'll check it out. And there you guys have it. So hopefully you guys can see that through there. It is gorgeous. It says be thankful. Now, once again, if I wanted to have it here, I would not mirror it, and then I would do it on the outside once again, but I would put it right here. So you could do something that said stuffing or whatever. But I think that be thankful is so, so cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys that one more time. And like I said, that took me around 15 minutes. So 15 minutes in, and I had this come out amazing. So like I said, check these out. Go to Goodwill, go into all of the stores and find the things, because sometimes you can even score these even at a yard sale for maybe 50 cents. So you can spruce that up. And once again, it's perfect to make a gift for somebody or even to make for yourself. Now, another thing that you could do, if this was something that was just setting up on the shelf, you could take some rub and buff, for example, in white, and then you can buff that in there and it would actually pop through their white. You could actually even do that for when you cook. So whenever people, because it's going to be on the bottom side. So once you cook it, everything's done, you could definitely apply some of that on there. So as people are getting it, they could really see that pop through. But honestly, when it's on the table, you can definitely still see it. But I hope you guys have found inspiration along the way for this Thanksgiving. I hope you guys are going to be recreating these projects. If you are, let me know in the comments below which one are you guys going to be recreating. And don't forget, these files are completely free. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.